The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The intro song is Fireworks by Jazar. We are back, ragazzi. Gianni Delacoli, Adriano Donardo, Nicholas Di Giovanni, season number 4 of the Calcio Guys. Season number 4. I don't believe
My
that.
God,
Honestly,
4
I don't.
seasons. Great for us.
It's
Can't believe it.
we had the 18-19 season, 19-20 season, 20-21 season, and then now starting the 21-22 season. I mean, the last 2 seasons kind of felt like just one mixed in with each other because there was barely a break between the 19-20 season and the 20-21 season. So now we get a bit of a break. We get the Euros. We get to watch Italy win the Euros. Not going to lie, ragazzi, I don't know. How was your summer? I mean, I know how your summer was. I saw you guys. We still talk. It's not like we haven't spoken since the end of May or whenever the Serie A season finished.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we were on such like a high and such a buzz after the Euros or during the Euros with Italy. Obviously, with them winning, like we were over the top. But you know what? It was good to take a bit of a break, from the show. Kind of like recharge, get ready for the new season of Serie A. And man, what a season I think it's going to be. A lot to talk about, a lot of things going on, and we're just pumped. I think to start up again 4 seasons of the Calcio Guys. We can't believe it, and that's just a big thanks to everybody that's been supporting us from day one and up until now. So. It's all love from us, and excited to start the season.
I mean, on a soccer standpoint, the Euros were pretty massive, and that was fun. I was happy to finally be able to go out and enjoy time with people now that people are getting vaccinated and everything, and spaces are opening up quite a bit. So it was nice to finally like have some normality. I wouldn't, but like Euros aside, probably give it an average summer 7 on 10, but the Euro section itself, highlight, fantastic part of the year. Now, if only Roma had a good mercato. It's more Napoli that had a terrible mercato, but we'll get to that later, I guess.
Not gonna lie though, with Italy winning the Euros, I kind of put Serie A on the back burner. Like it finished the end of May. We're nearly the end of August now. 3 months ago. I've completely forgot about all those transfers, all the rumors, all the nastiness that comes along with the rivalries. I just forgot about that. I enjoyed watching Italy win the Euros. Now we're coming back. I'm seeing on Twitter, today Locatelli signs with Juventus already. The dog's barking. Just give me a sec.
Oh, the dog's barking. Somebody's home. But yeah, today Locatelli, like it all was meant to be. Serie A starts Saturday. Obviously, the big news today, Locatelli. I think a lot of Juventini are probably over the moon.
Yeah, they should be happy. Their midfield went from one of the worst midfields in City. Okay, well, that's terrible.
Whoa.
Okay. Their midfield went from one of the worst out of the top 6, let's say, the top 6 teams in Serie A, to maybe in the middle of the pack now, or maybe just still like better off. They got an upgrade in the mid. At the end of the day, it's an upgrade for their midfield. It's not going to bring them to the best midfield in Serie A, but it's an upgrade nonetheless.
And we'll get into it later. I think we'll start with other news before, but for Juventus fans, the quote unquote next week, it finally came, right, guys? So I think a lot of Juventini can smile and be happy about Locatelli today.
Yeah, I don't think there is next week at this point.
It's here.
Next week was always the next Locatelli meeting, but finally But what I was going to say before is, log on to Twitter and the conspiracies are signing that Sassuolo helped out Juve with this deal, which, whatever.
Yeah, they bent over for them. That's okay.
That's when Serie A is starting again, and we're going to see plenty of that. At least there's an international break coming up in a couple of weeks, and then Nations League final in October, and then World Cup qualifying in November.
I was talking to Mass today. I think Roma plays the first Conference League game tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check that.
The most exciting competition. I saw something. I saw something. I forget exactly what it was, but I honestly forget exactly what it was. But it was a Conference League qualifying game, and one of the teams, their shirts got ruined in I don't know, in transportation or something. Like, they didn't have the proper numbers, so they had to draw the numbers on the back of the jerseys.
Oh my god!
That I think it was posted by Calciatore Brutti or something. So it goes to show how prestigious this Conference League tournament is going to be for Roma. I mean, at least if they win this, it's not as good as winning a tree there, but it's
no. But if Mourinho wins it, I mean, like, you could say he's been the first manager to win all competitions, right? All major international competitions. And tomorrow's the first leg of Roma versus Trabzonspor.
Yeah, who's that?
Trabzonspor, a team from Turkey.
That's a Star Wars planet. But I think one thing I want to talk about before we get into the real talk, you know us, we like our fashion, right? I think this is something on your mind, Idri. Puma comes out with their third kits today for all their clubs, Fenerbahce, Man City, Marseille, Valencia, and Milan. And this is what they did. Copy paste. You don't see it, but you hear it.
Control C, baby.
Copy paste, Control C. That's what they did. Really, I mean, we kind of saw that template a bit with the international teams, right?
Yeah.
Of, like, wording across the chest, almost t-shirt style, but they take it a step further. This really looks like a t-shirt. This looks like something they designed, on their own, like on the streets. Someone designs on the streets as the fake jersey. Like Evangelista, when Italy won the Euros, and Evangelista designed their own shirt. I think that was nicer than what Puma designed.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of buzz on social media with Puma. This past year and a bit now with the kits. I don't know. I don't know if you want to say kudos for going maybe like a modern route where football and fashion can kind of coincide with each other. I don't know. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I also think we've seen a lot worse in terms of kits, or in terms of third kits, for that matter. But again, I think with anything, it's going to, we said it with the Italy one, the Italy white one. It looks like a training top. It's a training top. What the hell is that? With the numbers, with all the detailing, it didn't look as bad on the players. So again, I think we're going to have to wait and see for that. But initial thoughts for the Milan third kit released today, nothing spectacular. I like the black and red, but I think it could have been more and better. But at least we have kits and we're not scrounging around like our fellow Napolitani or Johnny in this case.
No, kits were released. Spoilers came out.
Which one? The kits from last year got recycled into this year's kits.
I mean, no. It's simplified, but it's okay. Simple's not bad. It's not fantastic either. There's no risk taking, but the kits got leaked earlier this week, and then somebody took a photo today in the dressing room with the new kits. So pretty soon they'll do a nice video presentation or whatever. But if we're on the topic, I think the one thing I don't like about the new Napoli kits is the away kit. I'm not a big fan of the gold trim on the shoulders. Like, it's a white jersey with a gold trim on the shoulders and a black collar. Like, if it wasn't for the Napoli logo with the iconic Lette in front of it, right, I wouldn't know it's a Napoli kit from what the leaks look like. Yeah. Now, obviously, who's to say that the leaks will match exactly what the kits will look like? But the home kit got spoiled today, and it looks the exact same as the concept. So if that's going to be the home kit, I mean, what screams Napoli about gold trim and black and white? That's La Spezia. That's not Napoli in my opinion. Like if the shoulders were Azzurro, sure, then I can see it. But I don't know. My personal qualm with that is that I'm not a fan of the away kit. Home kit's nice and clean. I like the third jersey. I'm not sure if the red kit's going to be the third jersey or the goalkeeping kit, but either way, it's not as if we haven't seen red for Napoli either before. That's nice. And then the fourth navy, dark navy with the blue trim on top. That's a great alternate kit as well. Or if that's going to be your training kit, I don't know. Either way, the only thing I don't like about it is the away kit.
If we're going to talk about kits, and Adri, you love our solo in Italia moments on this podcast. We've had plenty of them over the course of, this is almost 3 years of doing the show, fourth season. Venezia comes out with these beautiful kits, and the black ones, it has Venezia written across the chest, and it has the logo at the top. But there's a Serie A rule that doesn't allow the team branding to appear more than once on the jersey. So Venezia in their Coppa Italia match, they had to remove their badge from the jersey and just leave Venezia on it. So they're looking for a shirt sponsor now, so that they could have a sponsor and leave their badge on the jersey for the games. They could sell it with both, but they can't play with it like that. If you look up their Coppa Italia game, I forget who it was against. Remember, Alessandria?
No, that was Alessandria was Sampdoria.
Oh, okay. That was Venezia. That's who Quagliarella scored that nice goal against. So I forget exactly who it was.
But it's 100th goal for Sampdoria.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it was Frosinone. They put Frosinone.
If you look at the pictures, there's no logo, which is funny, but whatever. It is.
Gazzetta northern rivals, Frosinone. Because they're the other side of the Lazio border. It's Gazzetta, Lazio border, Frosinone. Anyways, I'm being stupid. Just.
But I guess we'll talk about the real stuff now. There's so much to talk about. I don't know where to start, but you know what? Let's start with the team that finished first in the Serie A last season, because I think they're the talk. I think they're the talk of
100%
of summer. Inter basically they have to blow up the whole project because Suning doesn't have apparently the funds. They're in deep in debt.
700 million, I heard.
And it's a bad situation. They get rid of Lukaku, get rid of Hakimi. They bring in Dzeko, they bring in Dumfries. Those guys are nowhere close to Lukaku and Hakimi. Lose Conte, Inzaghi comes in. I think this is like one of those situations where Inter they're gonna have a hard time. Not only like defending their title, I think they're gonna have a hard time finishing top four, because this is going back to Inter in the Spalletti days. Just almost banter era. This is like I without Lukaku especially, I think they really lost their identity. I know they still have Barella and they still have a pretty good midfield.
Still have a solid midfield,
and they still they have a good depth squad, but it's not the same. And I wonder how the situation is also going to affect the players, the morale. Will they be thinking about all these problems with ownership? How is that going to play out? Is there going to be drama? But I think Inzaghi could be the right guy for the job for that, because he comes from a situation in Lazio where Lotito wasn't spending a lot of money either. No matter who he has right now with Inter, I think is better quality than what he had with Lazio for the most part, except for maybe the attack. He didn't have a lot of depth right with Lazio, so at least he gets that with Inter. So it's gonna be an interesting situation.
It is a downgrade because you go from Hakimi to Darmian if they decide to keep him. So because I think I'm not sure if he's owned by them or loaned by Parma or something like that, something weird. I have to double check my notes here, but I wouldn't say Darmian's a serious downgrade from Hakimi. It's a downgrade, but I wouldn't say it's a massive one. But the piece that's going to hurt the most is Lukaku, 100%. Like, yeah, if you keep Martinez, that's great, but you replace Lukaku with Dzeko or Dumfries, can they do the same thing as what he does? Not really. But you still have that strong mid. You still have Barella right there. You still have Perisic. Like, you still have that competent midfield. And crossing fingers, I don't think it's happening. Or if it's going to happen, it's not going to be this year. maybe Eriksen might actually make a great recovery. He might make it enough to actually come back and play. That's also a big question mark up in the air. Now, obviously, I wish the best for his health, and I don't want, and he shouldn't come back unless it's 100% a-okay for him to come back. But the way I see it right now is that if he's coming back to Inter because he's owned by them, obviously speaking, and he's not fully out. So if everything goes right for Inter, sorry, I found my note here. He was loaned, but now he's on a permanent. So I was half right. But I think Inter, they could still finish top four. I have to disagree with you, Nick, respectfully. I still think they're a good enough team to finish in the top four. I don't think they're going to be a first place team or repeat champions, but I honestly think they can just still hit the top four.
For me with Inter, it's a tough call. I mean, obviously, it's night and day from last season and going into this season. This was a team that finally broke, the streak of Juventus to win the Scudetto last season, and everybody thought, wow, hey, finally Inter, they're back. They have a project, and not even, fans couldn't even celebrate the Scudetto because days later, we see Conte leave. With not seeing eye to eye with upper management, and slowly but surely, we just saw this team downgrade, like you guys said, right? So obviously the big ones are Lukaku and Hakimi, like you guys mentioned. Eriksen, obviously, with his scary incident at the Euros. But I think Conte is the big one too. As much as he likes to make the excuses, and he has his faults as well. He brought this team to a level they hadn't seen in a bit of time, right? So, and he had everybody working as one. Now, Suning and upper management, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's a mess. Nick mentioned the debts. I heard reports saying 700 million euros. Like that's a lot of money. Like that's no joke. So I don't know. The replacements that they brought in, it's tough. You're not gonna match what you had. Obviously, they had to go maybe a bit of a cheaper route. But again, Dzeko, can he rebound from his past years of struggling at Roma? I don't know. He's 2 years older than, when they wanted him 2 years ago, right? He's, I think, 35 years old now. So, he can score goals. He won't be at Lukaku level. So it's going to remain to be seen if Lautaro really steps up, if he's going to be on the move, because there's a lot. Like again, guys, I think the word "if" is going to be the big word of the episode tonight, because there are so many ifs with everything that's going on in the Serie A. Dumfries coming in to replace Hakimi is an interesting move. I don't know too much about him. I saw him at the Euros. I heard good things about him. I've always heard he's had the potential. I think he can fit into the system. But again, Inter, I think they have obviously taken a step down, but they still have a competitive squad. And me personally, I think we'll obviously speak about it later when we talk about predictions. But for me, it's going to be floating between Champions League and not. They're going to be on the cusp for me personally. But again, they still have their defense, who was untouched. Bastoni, De Vrij, Skriniar, which is huge. Their mid, like Johnny said, Barella, Brozovic. If Sensi can stay on the field, it would be obviously a help. But we just have to wait and see how this Mercato finishes, and how they start off with Inzaghi at the helm.
Let's I'll talk about the other side of Milan and the team that finished second. I guess your team, Azzurri. I mean, I think it was just a very quiet summer in general for Italian teams, because Milan really, I mean, they didn't do much to bring guys in. The big story, losing Donnarumma, pretty much at the beginning of the summer. A couple of guys out, like Dalot, sorry, and
Hakan.
And Mete, and obviously Hakan went to Inter. I forgot to mention him with Inter. Sorry, a little discussion in my household. I thought my name was being called, so you know how it is, guys.
The family's always got to interrupt, man. Always got it. No, I'm joking.
But then for Milan coming in, you got Manuel, you got Giroud coming in. I don't know, wearing the number 9. I don't know how big of an impact he's gonna have. But quiet summer. I don't know if I don't know if Milan got better, but besides goaltending, I don't know if they got worse. I guess it's like a wait and see. We'll wait to see how they look on the field.
Yeah, I think like we're mentioning pretty much with every team, it's going to be a wait and see, guys. Like that's just what it is. Obviously, these past, COVID, mercatos have been interesting to look at. Obviously, like Nick mentioned, the news of Donnarumma leaving and Hakan leaving. Two starters, in Milan's lineup, obviously hurt. Well, for me, Donnarumma way more than Hakan, but I liked that Maldini and company, got their replacement for Donnarumma quickly in Mike Maignan. I mean, I can't sit here and say on this podcast that I know everything about Mike Maignan. I know his history. I don't. I've seen glimpses of him. Some have been in these past preseason games. He looks good. He's still young. He's on the French national team, which means something. Dida is still, the goalkeeping coach. So if he can take things like Donnarumma did from Dida, I think that would be great. But yeah, in terms of, Giroud, I'm not sure how to feel about Giroud. At first, I wasn't liking the move, but I kind of have changed a bit of my opinion on Giroud. I like how he's fit in so quickly, and if he can score goals, that's all we're asking from him. So it's a bonus. Bringing back guys like Tomori, Brahim Diaz, like Galliani used to say, those are new transfers, even though they played for the team, right? So it's good that they walk down guys like that. Obviously keeping, the likes of, Teo and, Calabria and, just other pieces of their squad is big. But yeah, we're still lacking in positions. We definitely need a right wing. I think a cam as well, because I don't know if it's going to be solely on Diaz to really take on that role. We need other pieces. I think Pioli needs to step up now. He got the job done last season, finishing second place, making it back to Champions League after so much time. But now, guys, we're playing 3 times a week. So it's going to be a different type of season. Everybody needs to be on board. And again, this Mercato, it's funny because Serie A starts and Mercato's not finished. So again, a lot of ifs. There's 2 weeks left of Mercato. I think it's going to go down to the wire. So I hope that Maldini and company can really, make some more moves. We hear Florenzi's coming. Yassine Adli from Bordeaux from the French league. They're saying Bakayoko may be coming back. I don't know. There's other pieces coming in. They need bigger reinforcements, I think, in certain positions. And I think this team can be, on a smooth path. But until then, like you guys said, it's a remain to be seen.
It seems like Bakayoko is rumored to be on the move every summer.
Yeah.
I swear it's wherever Gattuso goes, but I guess because Gattuso isn't anywhere now, he's not going to play. I don't know. Maybe he's going to go in his backyard, join Gattuso in his backyard.
Yeah. Like Jorginho Sadi.
Sadi, yeah.
But Gianni, you got 2 teams, and they're both pretty quiet too, especially Napoli. I mean, Napoli had their first move today with one Jesus. Roma a bit, I guess you could say a bit busier, right? Lose Dzeko, which was expected for a long time. Probably should have happened last year, and bring in Tammy Abraham. I really don't know too much about Tammy Abraham, but I'm sure he could be a good Dzeko replacement.
Well, if Mourinho wanted him, and they work together, I think they're in good hands.
I'll start with the Napoli side. I guess it's because it's quote unquote the more negative side of things. De Laurentiis spent his money 2 years ago and last year. He did the big splashes 2 years ago by spending, I think, about 80-90 million combined for both Manolas and Lozano. And then last year, buying Osimhen for another 80-90 million, depending on how you look at bonuses and whatnot. And I'm going off the top of my head. People can question me on the inaccuracies. But so obviously, if he takes this summer as an off year to not spend as much, especially if that it was a pandemic year, I don't blame him. Honestly, don't blame him because no fans in the stadiums. You don't really have much revenue or income coming in. And for a team like Napoli, staying afloat is very key because the moment Napoli moves out of the top 6 spots is the moment, I don't want to say the team dies, but they starts getting put into critical health mode, because Napoli's not a top 3 club where like Inter, Milan, or Juve can have an off year or a few off years of finishing out of the top 6 or finishing out of the top 4, yet they have such a loyal fan base that nobody's ever going to leave, you know? You saw it in the news recently with the Ultras. They're not going to show up to the Venezia game because of, oh my God, I'm blanking out on the reason right now, but for some stupid reason, they're not going to show up to the Venezia game. And, you know, like that's the unfortunate thing about supporting Napoli. You have situations like that. So Juan Jesus was a lateral move because Maximovic left as a free agent this year. So you replace a substitute CB with another substitute CB. I think maybe Juan Jesus is maybe slightly better than Maximovic, but that's just me being hopeful. I mean, it was kind of unfortunate that today Palmieri announced that he's preferring to join Olympique Lyonnais in place of because I said the name in French, I was about to talk in French in place of Napoli. It hurts because it's like you'd rather not play for an Italian club just to go play in France. So that's kind of unfortunate, unless maybe Juventus wasn't willing to give him the financial terms that he wanted. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So the left back situation is still questionable because, I mean, with Mauro Rui and Gulam always being injured, you know, it's unfortunate. So, but the team is still strong offensively. They didn't lose anybody either. You know, like they're not going to lose Insigne. They're not going to lose Koulibaly, as every year there's always those rumors. So, I mean, they didn't upgrade, but they didn't downgrade. But I think because of the lack of upgrade, it doesn't, like, I want them to be Scudetto contenders, and I honestly believe that a healthy Osimhen with Zielinski feeding him well and everything can be enough for Napoli to be a title contender. But the lack of depth from all like the competitions and stuff can hurt them in the long run. So I'm hopeful that they'll win a Scudetto this year, but I think they're finishing second. I'm being bold when I say this, but we'll get to that later. But I'm going to be a bit biased, you know, and I'll be a bit overconfident. I think they finish second. Now, Roma, on the other hand, fantastic market, in my opinion.
I just want to interrupt you, Johnny, because
before
we switch to Roma, I just wanted to interrupt you about Napoli. You said, you know, if they finish outside the top 6, it could really hurt their, you know, financial placement, financial situation. I think it's like that for a couple of teams in Italy, honestly, especially Juve. If Juve missed the Champions League last year, I think Ronaldo's gone and the team's blown up, even like a big blow up. At least they finished top 4. They're going to get the money from Champions League, and they have an ambition this year to compete in the Champions League, and they're able to bring in Allegri. If they didn't, I don't think there's Allegri. I think maybe Pirlo stays. There's no Ronaldo. Maybe Dybala leaves. It's, you know, a very different situation. So
I think, but
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because the difference between Juve and Napoli, though. Yeah, but the difference between Juve and Napoli, though, is that Juve is backed up by one of the biggest companies in Italy. It's fact, you know, like Fiat is a global brand. They're going to have this financial stability in one way or another to stay afloat. And
they're not Sunni.
Yeah.
Right? They're not Sunni. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Devil's advocate for Sunni, though, I think it's because of a Chinese law that they're screwed over, that there's an X amount of dollars you're allowed to bring outside of China if you're investing in foreign companies. If it wasn't a Chinese-based company that you're investing in, you have a limit to how much you can take out. But if that's their accounting team messing up, that's on them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, but for Juve, I mean, they're well known. There's more Juve fans in the world than there are Napoli fans. I'm sorry. Generic fans will know what Juventus is. Some generic fans won't know who Napoli is. Let's just call a spade a spade. And I think because of their reputation, because of their history, and because of everything, Juventus is like a Montreal Canadiens type of team. They can have a worse season, but they're still going to have people buying the gear, the merch. People are still going to support them. Yeah, they might have a couple of years of banter. Look at Milan. Milan's a perfect example. I'm not insulting Milan, but I'm saying like 10 years of them being in the banter area, but their fans are still dedicated. They still have that loyal following. And now that they're back in Champions League and eventually going to stay in the top 4, they're going to get back to strength easily. Napoli, if they go out of top 6 or if they don't stay relevant for a few years, they could end up like a Palermo, let's say. You know, like a team that had a lot of good history, a lot of good development, a lot of key players throughout the years. But because they're not one of the big 3, could risk going belly up. I'm not saying they would 100%, but there's a big risk compared to other teams. Now over to the Roma side. Not discrediting your point, Nick. I'm just saying I think I'm very pessimistic when it comes to financials in terms of the teams I support. On the Roma side, great market. I have to give it a B+ rating because you got Vigna to be a cheap replacement for Spinazzola while he's recovering, and he's not going to be a Spinazzola, but he's not going to be terrible either. You get Eldor Shomurodov, or Eli Shmurda, as I like to call him.
Eli Shmurda.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to learn how to pronounce the name.
Shomurodov.
That's Rizzo from Genoa Club Toronto.
Yo, or any Uzbeks listening. There's
that preseason games that we're watching clips of, all Roma fans were surprised, wait, we have a striker that can run? What is this? What is this new feeling? Yeah, so it's nice because Dzeko last year was supposed to leave and it didn't happen. And not that he hated Roma for it, but you saw that it was a bit of a dead weight for the team. It's nice to get that contract off the books. Yes, it was a pricey replacement in Tammy Abraham, but Tammy Abraham, if Mourinho wants you, there's a good reason. And Roma, what's good about it is that if Chelsea ever wants to buy him back, they have to pay double what Roma paid. So it's a good win-win scenario. If you get him for 40 million, which is payable, I think in 3 installments throughout the year or something, it's not a one drop type of thing. And you get very well if you go very far with him, or you get fantastic results with him, or whatever. It's a win for Roma. And if he develops well enough that Roma's competitive, but they're not super good, but Chelsea wants him back because he exploded. Oh, look at that! Pay us 80 million euros, probably even more. We can negotiate if they want, and Roma gets back what they made, and more. So overall, the market for Roma is B+. Because they didn't lose any key players besides Dzeko, but the Dzeko replacements were pretty solid.
Another one, I don't know if you were going to mention it, but an upgrade for me in the goalkeeping position as well. Rui Particio coming in, I think that's a bit underlooked by people.
Yeah.
I find since probably, can we say, Alisson for Roma, it's been up in the air, with Paul Lopez and who was the other one? Mirante, Olsen. It's
been
loaned
out, but now he's permanently gone.
Yeah, right. But besides since Alisson, I would say they haven't had the best consistency with the goalkeeping position. Interesting move to bring in Particio. Happy to see him join the Serie A. A fellow Portuguese with Mourinho. Maybe it's the Mourinho effect. I don't know. But I think that's another good move for Roma for their mercato.
No, thanks for reminding me. I kind of overlooked the Rui Patricio move because it happened early on of the summer. It happened just after the Euros ended, if I'm not mistaken. I like it. I mean, playing under Mourinho, this guy is probably the best manager of all time, and he came from your country, so obviously you want to perform your best for him, because you want to, I guess, validate him and validate yourself in his eyes type of thing. That's the way I would see it. I had some friends that are Portuguese that discussed to me about their opinion on him. He does have those inconsistencies where sometimes the easiest of saves he doesn't make them or whatever.
But he's an upgrade. He's an upgrade for sure.
Yeah, it is an upgrade. And also some keepers, you could be the best keeper in the world, but if your back line in front of you is not is not good quality, you can be the best keeper, but sometimes if they're getting into the red zone with powerful shots or very accurate shots, there's only so much you can do. So for Rui Patricio, I'm excited for it, but I also want that Roma backline to be more stable, and hopefully under Mourinho they will be.
And we talked about mainly our teams or the top teams here. Are there any other teams that kind of stood out for teams you think are going to do better based on their transfers this season, or even do worse? Because I don't know what teams, especially those mid-table teams, some of those transfers they're under the radar. You don't really know much about them, and then suddenly a player will come in and have a really good season, and all that. But
those are the Atalanta transfers that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, exactly. Under the radar.
But I think for me, I wouldn't go out and say there's a team that got significantly better out of the mid-table teams, but I think one team that I think got worse is Sassuolo. just because they lost Azzurri and they lost Locatelli, and it's not like they're replacing them, especially Locatelli. Apparently Berardi wants to leave. I mean, I know they still got Caputo. Boga, where did Boga end up?
I think he's still on the roster.
He's still with Sassuolo.
Okay, because I saw on Twitter that he's okay. I thought he left because I thought I saw
actually
someone say they sold him, or he was on the market for 40 million.
I mean, there's a couple of players that can be surprises, like Cutrone coming back to Italy to Empoli. You know, like if he maybe for playing for like a non-top 4 team. Might be less pressure on him. He could be a surprise, especially if he's a starting striker.
But we'll see.
He's still on Sassuolo.
He's another
on Sassuolo.
Yeah, but still Sassuolo. My bad. I don't know. Petrone, he was good that one season with Milan. He was all hyped up and then fell off the radar. Another Catania
type. 6
type.
Europa League goals that year or something. It was something like a good amount. Another one that I personally like, just because of clips that I've seen of him in the MLS, but this is just a personal fan favorite of mine, not an actual like accurate opinion. Gianluca Busio for Venezia. He's young. He's an Italian American kid who, if you look at his highlights for Kansas City, some of the free kicks that he scored were just fantastic. Like I think he's gonna have a lot of growing pains in Serie A. Like obviously he's not gonna be as lethal or as flashy as he was in MLS, but he might be a fun player to look at. I think he comes in the winter because I think that's when the MLS transfer window allows for transfers to happen. I could be wrong on that, but he just might be a fun player to look at. I'm not saying he's going to be a star or like a fantastic guy, but he might be like, oh, cool. You know, like might be a guy to under the radar. It might be cool for your team or something. But anyways.
Yeah. No, I think. Well, I always think, guys, there's obviously a lot to talk about. Like, even if we put players a bit on the back burner, just 2 seconds. You know, coaches too. Like, what are we seeing? 12, 13 new coaches or different coaching changes within the league this year.
Coaches stay.
Yeah, something like that. It's again, guys. I don't know if this is a record or if that's a stat, but it's definitely something to raise your eyebrows about and just kind of like focus in on. So. In terms of like one coach, like I don't know, like the Saudi Lazio move, I find interesting. I wonder how that's going to work out. I just think his philosophy might take a bit of time to get going at Lazio. But again, if it works, I think they'll be on their way. But back to player, I don't know, like what's his name, Nico Gonzalez from Fiorentina. I think is an interesting move. I think he's a clever. Tricky player in the front attack. Again, there's a lot of ifs, but if Vlahovic stays at Fiorentina, I think that tandem can be interesting and something to look at. I think obviously he has to get adjusted to the league, and Fiorentina is a beautiful city, a beautiful team, with another new coach in Vincenzo Italiano, which we loved last season at Spezia. So I think Fiorentina is an interesting team in general to look at. But yeah, Gonzalez for me quickly, if off the top of my head, is an interesting player. I also find, going back to Lazio quickly, the whole Felipe Anderson deal, bringing him back to Rome, is interesting. I think he had some good times and some good moments at Lazio back when he was previously there. So, if history can repeat itself with Anderson and Lazio, I think, it's a bit more depth than they had in the attack, for Lazio. And again, another if. Does Correa stay? Does Correa go? Well, we don't know yet. So, it's also interesting. But I don't know. Maybe also just the big news of today, Locatelli joining Juventus, I think. It's not going to solve all their problems, but it definitely can't hurt their problems either. In terms of the structure of the deal, in terms of the player you're getting. Obviously, he, exploded at the Euros a bit. Obviously, had a great season at Sassuolo last season. So, I think, Locatelli, if he can stay on the right path that he's on and on the hype, I think he can help this Juventus team. Especially in the midfield that's been lacking for we sound like broken records, but year after year after year, we say it, Juventus needs to strengthen their midfield. This is a piece. It's not going to be, we're not solving world hunger by bringing Locatelli to Juve, but I think it's a positive piece for Juventus as well.
One team I like what they didn't do is Sampdoria. They didn't really get rid of anybody. They didn't really bring anybody in. This is a team that finished 9th in the Serie A last season. Very under the radar, just behind Sassuolo. And, I think their starlet right now is Mikkel Damsgaard. Really made a name of himself at the Euros. I think that's a player they're going to have to eventually sell, especially if he continues playing well and, make a little money off of him. But right now they have him. And, they have many of the same players from last year. The only real name is Federico Bonazzoli. He's on loan at Salernitana. He left. But Adriano, I was just looking at Samp's roster, and they have a guy named Antonio Di Nardo. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Paisan. Maybe he's Paisan. Who knows?
From Napoli.
I got to call him up.
He's a 98. He's 22. He's born in 98. So that's your doppelganger DiNardo, right?
There you go. Literally. There you go.
But moving away from transfers before we, kind of give our preview for the season. Story came out today with Atalanta, with Papu Gomez coming out with a story. I don't know if it was with a Spanish newspaper or something, talking about the incident with Gasperini about during the Michelin game in the Champions League, where Gasperini told him to play on the right. He was playing on the left. Gomez told him no. They had Gomez said that he gave the coach attitude, but then Gasperini tried to physically attack him in the locker room, and a couple days later, Gomez said that he apologized in front of the team, but he never got an apology from Gasperini. And then he went up to the ownership group with Percassi and asked for an apology from Gasperini. Percassi sided with Gasperini, and that was pretty much a downfall. And Gomez had to leave. But then Gasperini comes out with a quick statement saying that Gomez started the physical altercation and that he's just making up stories to better his image. So I mean, truth is somewhere in the middle, right? But
it always is.
I've never met Gasperini, but things you read online and things you hear, when it's multiple times over and over, you kind of get an idea of what type of person he is. I don't know if he's, I'm sure he's a good guy. But I don't know if he's an angel. You saw it in the summer of 2020, him getting into an argument with Mihailovic on the sidelines. It just seems that there's always an issue with Gasperini that keeps recurring, where he doesn't treat people nicely. I don't know. There was another incident where he called a Southerner a vulgar name, and I don't know. Maybe I'm believing Gomez too much. Maybe what Gasperini is saying is true, but I don't know, man. It's a weird situation. Apparently, he is a hard coach to play for. He gets the results, but you feel bad for the Atalanta fans losing their captain like that. At least some semblance of the truth is finally out about this whole situation. But I mean, if this starts happening with other players, where players are going to be leaving Atalanta, I don't know. It seems like Percassi is going to back up Gasperini, as he did in this situation. But,
Can't blame him, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation.
If I may just put my opinion in the matter, they're both right. Because if Gasperini is taking these players for cheap, showcasing them, developing them very well, and then he can flip them for major profit, as an owner, that's what you want.
Yeah. Because
that's how you make more money, right? Logically speaking, as an owner, you're looking to make the big dollars at the end of the day. And if you can sell these players later on for triple their value and use that to reinvest in the team, reinvest into getting other players to sell for profit, and put some money in your pocket, obviously you're going to back up the guy who's doing that for you. So it sucks because Papu Gomez is a player that gave so much for Atalanta. He gave so much, his heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears for that team, for that city. He loved Bergamo. Like, it was his life. And I don't blame him for being disgusted by the actions of ownership or Gasperini. Because if I was a player in that situation, I would have reacted the same way. I'm like, I'm your team captain. I'm the franchise darling type of thing. People love me. And after all I've given to your team in the city, you're really going to do me like that? But as a neutral, I don't like. As a neutral, I lean more to Gomez's side because, it was just. It could have been Gasperini could have been the bigger person and apologized as well. If Gasperini would have apologized, it's not, just put your pride and your ego aside. There's nothing wrong with apologizing to Gomez. It's the team captain. It's the guy who's been there from the beginning. Well, I don't want to say full beginning, but it's the guy that pretty much your project was based around. And he's a player that you can publicly apologize to in the dressing room and still maintain whatever pride or ego you have in yourself. Now, I understand if it was some random ass prospect that you're trying to develop and he has a headbutt with you and stuff. I get that if a coach doesn't want to apologize to this player because who is he in the grand scheme of things? But for Atalanta, this is Papu Gomez. It's insulting. It's bad. If you disagree with a player, be a gentleman about it. And I think you develop more respect from the dressing room if you publicly agree and apologize too, rather than just shut up about it or have ownership ship the player out. It looks more like a dictatorship at that point rather than a united front. But at the end of the day, Papu Gomez leaves Italy, which is unfortunate because it was exciting to watch him in Serie A and a great midfielder. But like I said, devil's advocate, you look at the Gasperini system, if you lose Gomez, you replace him with Malinovsky, and you're pretty much getting the same results.
Yeah,
it's shitty to say. It's really shitty to say.
No, you're right.
But that's why, from ownership standpoint, I don't blame them for going with that direction because it makes sense financially.
It's a business, guys. It's a business at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
They're gonna go the business route. There's no more fairy tales, with Calcio. It's unfortunate. There are certain, I guess, small fairy tales, if you will. But I think at the end of the day, in that situation, I think that the best result happened at the end of it. They got separated. Like Johnny said, unfortunate. Papu left Serie A. We all loved him. But I think for the betterment of the situation, the result of Papu leaving, I think, was the best alternative. So no further, things could have ensued. Like Nick said, the truth is somewhere in there. Well, we might never know it, but at the end of the day, just bouncing off what Johnny said, the results are there with Gasperini at the helm. I personally think that might dip soon, if not now. I don't know how much longer they can keep this up. They have a good system and a good, idea within the club. They do fantastic work, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last. And if certain players are going to leave their club, I don't know how they will perform with the replacements that they bring in. But again, we've seen Atalanta do good things these past seasons, some, amazing things actually these past seasons. So again, it's unfortunate, but I think it's the best, case scenario with that situation.
Okay, let's do our predictions for the season. I know in our chat, Adriano, you said you wanted to do all 20. I don't have the 2020 ball, if you want to call it, to do all 20. I think me
okay,
and Gianni,
let's do this. We're gonna the relegation battle. Everybody wants to hear the relegation battle and the top, I don't know, 7, 8, whatever it is, 10 if you want. I don't know, whatever. The top 7 for sure. So the middle of the pack teams, I think
you could finish that off, Adri.
Yeah, sure. If you want, whatever. I don't mind. But I think we should start, from the bottom up, with the relegation battle and save I guess the best for last and the most exciting and, for the end with the top 7 or whatever.
Okay. I'll start.
So who finishes 20 for you, Nick? Or Johnny, whoever wants to start. I don't know.
I want to say Torino, honestly. I said Torino to be relegated last season. But,
here I go again. Wait.
But 20 is a bit bold. You got 3 teams coming up: Salernitana, Venezia, and Empoli. Usually, one of those teams are going to be the ones to finish last. I really, to be honest, I don't know enough about those 3 teams to make a judgment. It's not like I watched Serie B at all, right? But, based on, I think it was Empoli who won, Salernitana who finished second, and then Venezia was the third place team. I don't want to just go with the easy route and say Venezia, right? Just because, they were the last team to come up. But, I don't know. It's going to be tough. Last year was Crotone who finished last. I think they actually won the Serie B the year before, if I'm not mistaken. Them or Benevento, I forget. Okay, you know what? Let's go Salernitana to finish last. Let's go Salernitana to finish last.
That's what I was going to go with as well.
And then Torino second last, and then Genoa. Genoa is another team I say is going to get. You know what? Wow. They had a good season last year, but I don't know. Maybe Fabrizio won't like that.
I'm going to go with Salernitana 20th, Venezia 19th, and probably thinking that last 18th place team.
I changed my Genoa answer to Cagliari, by the way. Not Genoa.
All right.
Cagliari just escaped the last season. They had a good second half of the season that saved them, but they won't survive this season.
Is Johnny there?
He looks frozen.
I think he's frozen. Yeah, Johnny, that's twice frozen. Now. I saw you on the Rough and Rough rant. You froze. I see you now on the Calcio Guys. You froze. I don't know what's going on, Ja. But I guess I'll go once we get Johnny back. I guess we all agree. I think Salernitana I think is going to finish 20th for me. I would like to see them finish a bit higher. I just don't know if they have enough. Obviously, there's the rumor, and I think it's pretty much official that Simi is coming, and Johnny left us. So we'll get Johnny back soon.
Johnny, 3 minutes ago, he quote tweeted this tweet: "Ruin a sexual encounter in 5 words or less," and he quote tweeted it. Want to see my fidget spinner. So because he tweeted that, that's why his Skype froze. Did you hear that, Jenny?
He spun right out of here. He spun out of here. But yeah, so yeah, for me, Salernitana 20th as well. It's unfortunate. I like the story behind them. Obviously, like I said, I think I'm pretty sure it's official for Simi to come up from Crotone to Salernitana. It's just good to see another Southern team, in the league in Serie A. There's not much representation there, so but I just don't know if they'll have enough. Obviously, there's Italian American Giuseppe Barone, son of Joe Barone from Fiorentina's upper management, so that's interesting to see as well. But I don't know if they're going to have enough. For me, 19th, sorry, second to last place. Love the kids, love, the city, love the everything. It's going to be Venezia for me. I don't know. Again, it's all beautiful and it's all nice, but I don't know if they have enough as well. Bringing in the players that they brought in, like, I don't know. Like, their market has been, for me, it's been whatever, Caldara trying to make his worth go back up, going there. Like Johnny mentioned, it's what, Gianluca Buzio that went there. Yeah. And another American, Tanner Tessman, I had heard. So it's going to be interesting to see at Venezia. It's amazing to see them back in Serie A. And then for me, 18th is going to be Spezia. It's going to be Spezia just because I think it's a huge downgrade what they've done in terms of coaching. What Vincenzo Italiano did with Spezia last season keeping them in Serie A after it was their first time in the league or in the competition speaks volumes. He brought the best out of the players that he had at his disposal. I don't know how much they got shooken up in terms of squad. I think Giassi and the Verde I think are still there. Some other names and Zola, but I don't think they have Agudelo anymore. I think he's back at Genoa if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. Spezia for me, it's a downgrade going to Thiago Motta. We saw what Thiago Motta did with Genoa, and I think history repeats himself. And I don't know if he's going to last very long at Spezia. So if that does happen, and even if they do sack him and they bring somebody else, I don't know if they'll have enough to survive. But I think if they do have any chance of survival, it's going to be close between, flirting with salvation and relegation, maybe between. I might even say Hellas Verona. I don't know. It's scary for me. I Hellas as well. But my bottom three for right now, it's going to be, like I said, 20th Salernitana, Venezia 19th, and in 18th it's Spezia.
Just for fun, like Campagnese and me wanted to hopefully one day see Casertana, Salernitana, Benevento, and Napoli all in the same league at one point, like in Serie A.
How many teams do you want to support, Gianni?
No, I wasn't going to support it. I was just still going to support Napoli, and I have a soft spot for Casertana because my father's from there. But nonetheless, it would have been funny to see all those derbies happening at the same time. I think
throw in Avellino too.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Avellino as well. Just imagine. No, I'm just kidding. It would have been funny.
Now you're getting greedy.
Yeah, now I'm getting greedy. Throwing in Avellino.
So I guess we'll do the top four. Or do you want to do the top four last? You want to work our way up? You want to go like 7 through 5 now?
Yeah, 7 through 5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 7 for me is Lazio. 6, I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, is Inter. And 5 is Napoli.
Wow.
So I think you could figure out who the top 4 is.
Wow.
But like I said, Inter,
what? Inter. Okay. What's your reasoning, if there's any?
Okay. I might as well just say the top 4. I mean,
sure.
So Juve. I think Juve is gonna win the league. I mean, Allegri's just a Serie A master.
So you said Lazio. You said
Lazio 7.
Lazio, Inter, Napoli.
Yeah.
So 7, 6, 5. Okay.
Yeah. So I say Juve, Atalanta, Milan, and then I say Roma is gonna make a surprise visit in the top 4, just because I think they made some good transfers this summer. And
so who's your winner?
I say
Juventus.
Juve, because Allegri is a master.
Who's your second place?
Atalanta.
Okay.
Milan.
I'm noting Johnny's writing it down. Johnny's writing it down.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We got it on record, John. We got to record it. Don't worry.
And then Roma.
Between Roma and Milan?
Milan then Roma.
Milan then Roma. Okay, noting it down.
But I'm willing to accept like Roma. I mean, I think it's a hit and miss with them. Like, I think at their best they could finish 4th, but if they don't reach their best, either Napoli or Inter could easily just climb into that top 4 too. Roma. I mean, I don't think they're going to win any trophy this year, unless it's like the Conference League. So, like I said, that's I think Roma's best possible result is top 4, but Napoli and Inter are ready to go. If they're not, and then Lazio, I think Lazio is not there yet. I think they're still a team that's going to fight for a European spot quite easily, especially if you look at the other teams that are around them, like Sassuolo, like Sampdoria, Hellas, even Fiorentina if you want to throw them in. But yeah, and yeah, with Juve, I mean, okay, fine, they finished 4th last year, but I think now with a full season, like I said, full off season, full preseason, and Allegri, I mean, he has what, 6 Serie A titles? I think 6.
Yeah, 3 with Conte, and then the other 6 were with Allegri.
Yeah, exactly. So he had 6. No, wait.
No, he has 7. He also has 1 with Milan.
No, yeah. No. Sorry, it's 5 with Juve because 1 was with Sarri. 5 with Juve, and then 1 with Milan. So 6. So he has 6 Serie A titles, a couple of Coppa Italia. I think that's his specialty. And I think for him, it's a disappointment if he doesn't win a Scudetto.
Ja, what are you saying?
Okay,
just before we go on, I think this top, like these 7 teams, I just think like to the race for top 4 Europa League, like we've been saying in these past seasons, but I think this is a real interesting and a lot of interchangeable factors. Not only that the Mercato hasn't finished, but just based on coaching changes, some players have come in, have left. I think there's a lot of interchangeability within these 7 teams, and I think they all have a chance to potentially get into top 4. Realistically, obviously, I think we'll be like Nick already mentioned. You know, we could break it down a bit further, but there's a lot of to look at within these. These 7
like I think it goes without saying that right now the top 7 in Italy, since now the 7th place holds,
it's close. It's close.
Has like most of the time the difference between 4th and 7th is either a point or 2 or a tiebreaker. You know, it has nothing to do with the qualities overall for the team. It's just more like, okay, well, this team finished 7th because they're 1 point behind 6th. Like I feel like as if it's the top right now in Italy is very competitive. So which is very nice to see because it means it's a bit more open. With that said, my predictions are like I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible here, but my predictions, I think Lazio finished 7th because they don't have Sarri's system's fantastic. They don't have the team for Sarri yet. They have some good pieces, and you know Immobile is still probably going to be in the race for Capocannoniere, but they don't have the pieces for Sarri ball just yet, and that back line needs some work. Adrian, don't take this the wrong way. I think Milan finishes 6th. I don't think Giroud was enough to help Milan with an aging Ibrahimovic. Even though both are fantastic strikers, both are good, and Leao still needs to fully bloom because he's also a little bit off. But Magnan is actually going to be the question mark for a team. If he does well for them and he's a solid Donnarumma replacement, they're going to be much better than 6th place. But we'll see with that. Kier is obviously a solid center back. Romagnoli's a question mark, but I think he just had a bad half of the last season. So we'll see with Milan. Atalanta finished 5th in my eyes. Especially with the stories coming out, I feel like there might be a bit of uneasement. They lost. Oh my God, they lost Romero. No, they lost Romero.
Atalanta, yeah. Romero, Golini.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah, but they brought in Musso and Demiral. So I think it's
Demiral.
Yeah,
Musso for me personally
I think
but
Romero's better than Demiral. Like
but Musso's better than Golini. So
yeah, Musso is better than Golini, but I don't know, like. Winning Defender of the Year last year, losing him, you know, it's never good. It's big. I think Inter finishes 4th. Like I said prior at the beginning of the show, they lost big pieces, Lukaku and Hakimi, 110%. But Inzaghi's still a good manager. You got some average replacements. Your midfield's still really good, arguably the best in Italy. So. I mean, Eriksson obviously being a question mark, and they say that if the best chance he has of coming back is only 6 months in, so he might get him for the second half of the season. I think Inter kind of hold it together to hold on to that 4th place spot. Roma finishing 3rd because, you know, Mourinho, it's Mourinho. Like, I'm sorry, like he's a fantastic manager. If Zaniolo stays healthy and when it gets Spinazzola back, the team is scary. The team is going to be scary. They're going to be well managed. They got much younger. They got more mobile, which is big. They got more mobility, which is big. Napoli finished 2nd. I think Spalletti's great upgrade compared to Gattuso. No disrespect to Gattuso. And I said it all depends on a healthy Osimhen because I feel like he can be the MVP for Napoli this year. Last year was Zielinski. I think this year can be Osimhen if he's healthy. Unfortunately, still no help on the back line, so I think that's what's going to be their Achilles heel, and that's what's going to probably cost them any chance of a Scudetto this year. And 1st place, it's going to be Juve again. You know, like they didn't really downgrade. They upgraded in the mid with Locatelli. You kept Ronaldo, which is very big. You got Allegri back, which is a good confidence boost in the team because he's a familiar face. So I think Juventus, because of how the playing field developed or probably collapsed in a way, I think Juventus takes advantage of that and capitalizes on another Scudetto.
Yeah, it's guys, it's so tough. Like I mentioned, again, interchangeable. I think all our picks can probably be interchangeable. Like I mentioned,
100%.
like there's no guarantees. Like for me, the Mercato hasn't finished. We've been saying if that, like I said at the beginning of the show, if is like the common denominator in this episode.
And I mean, if sports were decided by three guys from Montreal, nobody would watch, right? This is why they're played on the pitch.
Exactly,
right? So like Nick said, we got to see the players on the pitch. We got to see the people that have came into the league, the coaching changes, players. Are they going to be able to adjust? I think is the big thing. So for me, in seventh, I have Roma. I like the additions they had, but again, there's a lot of additions and there's a lot of like adjustments. Can they adjust very quickly? I hope Roma proves me wrong, because I do like the pieces that they have added, like we mentioned earlier, Rui Particio, Vina. I think I'm not too sure about him. I think he can fill in. Obviously with Abraham, I think is interesting. I want to see him, in there and getting a taste of Italian tactics, the Italian defense, and a change from the EPL. And again, is Mourinho magic still alive? It's remained to be seen. I hope it is, just for the excitement of the league. But the biggest thing is Zaniolo. Zaniolo for me, I think he's going to be back. To what capability? I hope it's at the highest of capabilities. But again, remain to be seen. So for me right now, if I speak today, Roma's in seventh for me. And just above them, again, interchangeable, it's Lazio in sixth. Sarri, I like. Lazio, I think it fits. Lazio, I just don't know how long his system and philosophy is going to take to get into the Lazio core. I think Immobile will score. I think he'll be able to perform. Again, Milinkovic-Savic, Luis Alberto, fantastic players. I liked Anderson move as well. Correa, is he in, is he out? Remains to be seen. Acerbi still leads the back line. I think Luis Felipe is still there. They need to add some pieces. And just, I don't know, Sarri, for me, is the biggest question mark. I like him. I like the move and everything. I just don't know how long it's going to take for everything to pan out. So for me, Lazio's in sixth. For me, fifth. And again, this is again, for me, it's so interchangeable. Just with all the the issues financially, the ownership, the losses that they've had in terms of players and coach. I have Inter in fifth, just missing out on Champions League. Again, I think they do have a capable squad to make it back into Champions League. And I'm going to put my Milan bias, I'm going to take my Milan hat off, right? And you really, and I physically took off a cap I'm wearing, right? So just for anybody listening. So, I don't know. For me, Inter has the players. They do have good players. They didn't break up that defense, which I find is big in terms of their success. The famous saying, defense wins championships. Bastoni, Skriniar, and De Vrij still there. It's huge. Barella is huge. Brozovic as well. Sensi, like I said, if he can stay on the pitch. Hakan, I don't know. Will he make a difference? Maybe. He's not playing in Conte's system. He's playing in Inzaghi's system. So I don't know if he's going to make much of a difference. Dumfries, I think, will be good enough for them. And Dzeko, again, hit or miss. Will he perform? Will he not? I don't know. But even Inzaghi, I liked Inzaghi as a coach at Lazio. Will he have enough to go to a bit of an upper quality team in terms of players? And no disrespect to anybody on Lazio, but in certain positions he has an upgrade. At Inter, it's just the facts. Will he be able to perform better than he has in past years? I don't know if he's ever made it. Has he ever made it above fourth spot? I don't know.
I don't believe it.
I don't think he has.
I don't believe so.
I don't know. So for me, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to make the jump just yet. Maybe year 2, maybe, I don't know, but year 1, I think they finished 5th. For me, I'm going to go Milan in 4th. For me, I picked them to finish 4th last season. They overachieved a bit last year. They finished 2nd place behind Inter. They obviously lost, like we mentioned, Donnarumma, Hakan, some other small pieces. Haven't upgraded the right wing. We can't continue going into Champions League or in the Serie A with, Castillejo, salsicha maker. It's just not enough, right? So, but again, they've replaced Donnarumma with Maignan. I think he's going to be good. Their defense is still good. The back line for me is a plus in terms of Theo Hernandez, Tomori, Kayer, Romagnoli, who I think will have a bit of a comeback season, and Calabria, who's just been fantastic last season going into now. So their midfield's still great. Kessie and Benacer, two of the best in the league, in my opinion. And then, in terms of the attack, it's going to remain to be seen who's going to be able to perform. I hope Ibra can come back strong when we need him. Giroud as well. Can he break the number 9 curse? Again, remains to be seen. But I think Milan has enough to make it into Champions League again and make this project, continue rather than just crumble after 1 year. For me in 3rd, I have Napoli. I think Napoli, in terms of coaching, Gattuso for me, legend. I love Gattuso. In terms of tactics, it's a bit of an upgrade with Spalletti. I think he brings stability in that aspect, or hopefully stability for that aspect. And, he brought teams in the past into Champions League, Roma, Inter. I think he does the same for Napoli. And again, guys, Napoli was just a match day away from not making it back into Champions League season at the end of last season. So I think, obviously, like Johnny mentioned, they didn't really upgrade in terms of transfers. They've had a quiet mercato, Juan Jesus being the only notable one, or only one, sorry. But again, I think the whole Insigne rumors that to be out, I think that fuels him to have another great year. I don't think it's going to match last season, but I think he'll be close. And I think everybody's eyes and money is on Osimhen this season. I think he's the guy. He has to be the guy. He has to be your leading scorer. He has to be one of the top, strikers in the league. And I think he will produce. So I have them in 3rd. For me, it was tough to pick Atalanta in 2nd because I'm not sure still how I feel about them, but I have them in 2nd place. The Romero deal leaving, I think, is a big loss. I don't know how much faith I can put in Demiral. If he brings back his non-injury prone self to Atalanta, yes, it's a good move. It's not Romero level, but it's a good move. But for me, the big one is Musso. I think Musso's a big upgrade in the goalkeeping position. I think Inter kind of slept in terms of not picking him up because I think they only paid 12 million. And I know you're in debt, Inter, but 12 million for a replacement for Andanovic could have been worth the risk. So Musso's big for me at Atalanta. And then I don't know, just their players I think are good enough to stick around in Champions League. But again, does Zapata leave or does he stay? Again, we don't know. So if he stays, I think they're there. If he leaves, it might be tough for them to get a true striker in a short period of time. And obviously, last but not least, I have Juventus finishing 1st and winning the Scudetto again. Nick mentioned Allegri coming back. I think that's fundamental for the squad. And I don't want to hear the Juventini saying, the tactics, they're stale, the this and that, and Allegri out.
It works. It works.
If he's played, people want to say, played beautiful football. There's times where Allegri in the past, these past seasons at Juventus, they won ugly. They got those 1-0 wins, and those are the results that matter in terms of if you're going to win a championship, if you're going to make it into Champions League, if you're going to go far, if you're going to contend. I think in terms of stability with that, it's an upgrade from Pirlo with Allegri. I think hopefully Dybala has a bit of a wake-up season this season. Locatelli, like we mentioned, is huge for the mid. But again, there are some question marks and some holes to still fill with this Juventus team. But I think another player that we hadn't mentioned at all this episode and we have so much in the past. For me, is Federico Chiesa. This is now another year of experience at Juventus. He just came off one of, just an unbelievable Euros with Italy. He really emerged. He really took on, I wouldn't say a leadership role, but just I don't know how to say it, but he just took on a role of importance with Italy. And when they needed him, he provided. So can he do the same at Juventus? I think he'll have a great year. And another name to obviously keep your eyes on, which we already have been. So it's going to be huge. Obviously, Ronaldo's still there. I think he'll still score. And Juventus will regain their throne, I guess, for the Scudetto for this year. We'll see in years to follow.
Wait, so Juan Musso only costed 12 million euros.
Ooh, peanuts.
You have to call me on that, guys. And anybody listening could definitely correct us if we're wrong. But that's what I had heard. If it might be a bit more with bonuses, I don't know.
But 2 years ago, he was like statistically one of the better keepers in Serie A.
He still was with Udinese. I think he's gonna make a name for himself without the
Let me
at least he has a defense and offense now.
Yeah, and a good system and everything. But again, he's going to be playing in Champions League for the first time. He's going to be playing in a higher competition. He's going to be playing with better players. So we'll see. Again, we'll see if these players adjust. 20 million euros. Okay, that's probably
20 million is still it's still relatively cheap. It's still a bargain. I wouldn't say a bargain, but it's still a good price for a solid keeper in Musso.
Because they sold Goini to Tottenham and Romero to Tottenham for whatever the combined fee was. If it was 60, 70, 80 million, whatever it was, they bring in Musso, Serie A experience. And like Nick said, one of the statistic leaders in terms of the goalkeeping position. It's a plus for me.
100%.
And before we wrap it up, I was going to ask you guys, where are you going to watch the games this weekend?
So that's the red card of the preview episode here on the Calcio Guys.
And I think it's United
Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and we still can't fucking figure out where we're watching these games.
I don't even know if it's the problem. I don't think it's a problem with the Serie A. I think it's a problem with Fubo TV. So for those who don't know, Serie A, the broadcast deals, all their broadcast deals ended after the season. So they had to, renegotiate 3-year deals for pretty much all the, international countries. So US, they're going from ESPN to CBS/Paramount. Canada, no more DAZN. Apparently it's Fubo, but nobody knows. That's the problem. Nobody knows. There's never an official announcement. Fubo is mixed messages, emailing their customers saying that there is going to be Serie A available, but then they're tweeting in answers saying that it's no longer available in Canada, but then they're silent now. So we're only going to find out, I guess, Saturday. TLN has games, but TLN you can only get it through
Sky Sport.
through cable.
That's usually the
But then
TLN is getting 3 games a week in Italian,
and it's nice
because no more Sky Sport. Sorry, not Sky Sport. Rai Italia.
It's nice, but it like TLN. If you're a Bell customer, I know it's $7 a month to get TLN, and I would pay that if they had all 10 games and if they had a streaming service. But if it's just 3 games a week in Italian, but I don't know if it's
hit or miss.
Games,
it's hit or miss. They're gonna play the like. Let's say you're a fan of the team. Like, let's say even to say maybe like I don't want to say like the top 7, but like a Fiorentina team or a Sassuolo, right? Like, you're not guaranteed you're gonna be able to catch it on TLN.
Yeah.
So now, like, what do we do? Do we subscribe to Fubo? Do we do the VPN? Everybody's saying the VPN, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, whatever, and you get everything. Who knows? It's a real shit show here in Canada right now in terms of rights. And
I know for sure. Like, I'm just gonna create a Fubo account this weekend. It's free. The first month is free. So if they don't have it, takes 2 seconds to cancel, right? So.
Yeah,
we'll wait and see.
I'm going
to
go
be nice to
with
get some clarity.
Same old route that I've been doing since 2007 and just use websites. Wink, wink.
Yeah. There's always that route too, man. You know what? It's a bit sad because I think we had it good these past seasons with the zone. I know some people like to criticize it and the whatever. But in terms of just availability, like it was there. I don't know. Like I never had an issue with it personally, so I could only speak for myself. It was convenient on the go, on your phone, on the laptop, at home, on the TV. You can connect it anywhere. Multiple people can jump on. So it was just available, and it was you were able to use it. So it's a shame that we have to struggle like this. Not even a week left in terms of the season start of Serie A. But I guess what do we expect with Serie A and just rights and negotiations and clarity and communication? We're up in the air, but c'est la vie, I guess. And I don't know, guys. I'm just super pumped for the season to start. We had it so well this summer, Un'estate Italiana, as we like to say, with Italy, with the Euros and everything. And I just hope those good vibes just continue on into everybody enjoying the Serie A season. But yeah, I guess that's all we have for you, tonight. Nando and the boys, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. We're coming. We're on our way. We're coming. Get the pizzas nice and warm, and the snacks and the wine. But yeah, guys, I think I don't know. Any final words? I'm just pumped.
I'm looking at
Forza Napoli, dai Roma, Juve merda. Those are my favorite.
What are you looking at, Nick?
Oh, I'm just looking at on Bell the TLN schedule, and for Sunday there's Roma, Fiorentina, Udinese, Juve. And then on Monday, like no games. They're not showing any of the games on Saturday, at least live. It says Italian soccer like late Saturday night for an hour, so I don't know what the heck that is. And then Monday, no game. So this week, what? 2 games? What the?
If we're lucky, like what are we? Dogs here. We have to beg for food.
I just hope football has it. Let's just hope football has it. That's it. That's all. That'll do it for us.
Whatever it is, there's a will, there's a way. We'll find it. Yeah. We'll figure it out how to watch the Serie A this season.
That'll do it for us. Where to find us on social media, Idri?
Yeah, guys, just a big thank you for everybody. We had a bit of an off period, taking some time off between the Euros and the Serie A season start. So again, just a big thank you to everybody that's stuck with us, that interacted with us, that's just been by our side supporting the Calcio Guys. Like Nick said, now for a 4th season, it just doesn't go unnoticed, and we just can't thank you guys enough. So it's much love from us. And like we say every week that we're on, where you can find us on social media at the Calcio Guys on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well, and catch our podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. So like, subscribe, share it, and just get the buzz going again for Serie A Calcio. Like we're just so pumped. We just can't wait to continue to interact with fans, with other podcasters, bloggers, content creators as well. So follow us there, and we'll be back next week to start off the Serie A season and talk a lot of Calcio.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.
The Calcio Guys is a weekly podcast by Adriano Donardo, Gianni Delacoli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. We want to bring Calcio back to its roots in our communities and share stories from around the world about why we're passionate about the beautiful game. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts, including Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Radio, and Mixcloud. Give us your opinion on social media at The Calcio Guys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The outro song is The Last Ones by Jazar.